Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors for June 23rd, 2026. Roll call, please. Ms. Showalter.
Kurtenbach.
Here.
Brant.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Here. Would everyone please join us for a moment of silence as we reflect on our actions this morning? Thank you. Would you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1 is the agenda received as proposed or amended, and I would like to suggest that we amend it for item 7A to be tabled until next week. We had some communication with the company, and they had some changes to our changes. That agreement's not quite ready.
Moved with the amendment.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is received. Item 2 is public comments. Is there anyone here today that would like to speak on something that is not on today's agenda? We have someone, yeah, thank you. Is there anyone online with something not on today's agenda that they would like to address? All right, moving on to claims and payments. This is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue payments against the various settlement of such claims as allowed.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Weidner.
Good morning, Board. Our total bill payment today, gotta get situated, will be $626,087.07. Out of that, with the 60/40 fund, we're paying $4,190.13. And some larger payments today, the assessor fund is paying for their pictometry flyover, $152,830. And I think there is one more. Elections, you'll notice your list was much longer than usual because we're paying all the election workers. That total was $61,070.23. And then we're also making total payments for Mile Rock as we work on the gravel roads this summer. That total was $137,534.47. Everything appears to be in order. Any questions?
Can you speak to the 60/40? It's a little higher than normal.
Yes, we're paying MediaCom. Actually, the Permar bill is a little bit higher, and it doesn't appear to be an extra days, so I'm not sure. That was $3,451, and it's usually only $2,000 plus, so maybe Rory or Carol's aware of that. Then we're paying some MediaCom and Mid-American Energy, just utilities for that.
Okay.
There was a question also asked last week about Judy's payroll or invoice, I guess.
Yes, there was an invoice to Raycom for a software that they're purchasing. That has been delivered and they're working on installing it this week. So we did remove that payment from last week. And we're going to wait until the installation is complete. They expect it to be done this week, but I don't know for sure whether it will be. So we'll wait till they have that completed.
Good deal.
Thank you. Any other questions for Michelle?
No.
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Brant.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Kurtenbach.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 4, receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, engineer. Our 2 paving projects are complete for the year. That would be Donald Street, and then Raymond Road. So those are now open and looking brand new. our bridge crew is on Hoff Road. They are beginning the pile driving process tomorrow. So if you're interested in seeing that, please let us know. We'll provide the earplugs, but you are welcome to come out and take a look at that and see our new pile driving equipment. Mowing has started now on the gravel road system. We did have a problem with a couple of the mowers, so those are in good shape now, and they are out on the gravel road system. And we are starting the second round on the paved road system. Can I answer any questions at this time? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Rory Giving, Facilities Director.
Good morning.
I was asked to give a brief update on a property over on Sunnyside that as a county, we've been dealing with this for quite some time now. This is a property which has some items that are actually on county property. And so just a quick update, we did send out a list of demands of items to be removed from this property back in April. We did visit this property last week, and some items have been removed, but there are still plenty more left that need to be addressed. And so we met, I met with Mike and actually Richie yesterday, and we are going to send one final notice with a little more teeth in it to get these remaining items either moved, or we're going to have to look at outsourcing somebody to come in and remove those for him. Probably place those items on his property somewhere because they do belong to him. But getting them removed, I'm making an assumption that that's probably going to fall on us as a county to get this completed. But we are giving it one more shot, one more chance for him to address it. I did send out an email. Some of you may not have seen it because I just sent it out this morning, but I copied all of you in along with a property owner next door to this gentleman. So that is what I have at this moment.
You mentioned more teeth.
I don't know exactly, probably a stringent deadline. Just basically words, probably maybe in a
I can
legal
answer
term.
that. Basically, it's not, the teeth aren't any different. It's just to give them a last chance, so to speak. It's like, okay, we gave you 30 days the first time. It was a clear deadline then. He didn't get it done by then. He's gonna get 14 more, and then we're gonna go in and begin the actual work of removing his property from our property.
Are we able to assess the expenses back onto his?
That is the plan, to do just that. He has been warned about that.
Okay.
And it just depends on, kind of how we'll have to calculate them accurately is the only thing, based on who we've got working on removing those items.
And he had made some progress. I mean, and
A
based
little
even
bit.
on.
There's an access to a lake area that he did get some items moved off of that access. It looks like he has taken some items and just piled them up within his property, but there's still a lot to do.
Yeah, he opened up the right of way to the lake. The problem is he's still got the fixtures. There's 2 sheds, a porta potty, and a deck he built on the county property. Those are going to have to go. And I guess, if he doesn't get them done soon, we're gonna have to be the ones to do the work. So this is a last chance letter, and otherwise we're gonna go out there and clear our property.
How would we go about billing on that? As far as how do you come up with a total amount that would get assessed?
If we
against?
outsource it, it would be whatever that company ends up, what that fee would be, and then that would be assessed against his taxes.
Okay. I'm not saying
If
what.
we do it internally, then yeah, we would have to keep track of our labor and hours and.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You were planning, but obviously it would make more sense to contract it out. Why don't we just skip to it? He's had a year and some change. I'm not saying like waiting 2 more
He
weeks.
hasn't had a year since he's been notified. He has
Since
had
he's-
since
okay.
that letter went out in
April.
Yeah, so he hasn't had a year.
Okay.
There's been talk about it for over a year, but the first that he received any kind of definite notice was when that letter went out a couple of months ago.
And that letter you're talking about would go out for it?
This
maybe
week.
This week, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been out there a few times. We've taken a captain from the sheriff's department, sheriff's deputy. We spoke with him. He seemed, the first go around, he seemed very compliant, understood what items need to be removed. So we were kind of left there hoping that that would take place, and unfortunately it didn't. So,
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Roy.
yeah, thank you.
Any other updates? Any online? Moving on to item 5, minutes approved for June 16, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Item 6 is the consent agenda. The following items are acted upon by a single resolution unless someone removes an item they'd like to be discussed.
So moved. Second.
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Moving on to item 7, contracts and agreements. B is a resolution that the agreement between Blackhawk County and Splunk LLC, Somerset, New Jersey, for a security information and event management platform used to log, centralize, and analyze and monitor security data for 3 years, July 1, 26 through May 4, 2029, at the annual cost of $24,963 be approved and direct the chair to sign for same as recommended by Al Yu, IT Director.
So moved.
Second.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you update us on this wonderful system?
I'm sorry.
Would you update us
yes,
on this
yep.
wonderful system? It's new to us, correct?
Yep. Clint Hardman, Assistant IT Director. So this system is, we did budget for this current fiscal year. It is something that is CJIS compliance and required for us to log events, logins, lockouts, both from our Active Directory or computer accounts and other networking equipment. So essentially what happens is daily there'll be up to maybe 10,000 events that digital computers and or switches create. And this system gives us the ability to compact that down into something that we can actually read and make actual useful reports from, and dashboards help us troubleshoot security events, performance issues, and help us troubleshoot in general throughout various locations within the county.
Was this not required before? This is just newly required?
It was a requirement for us this fiscal year, and that we're just getting to the event to the actual capabilities of implementing it. We did test out trials for 3 different solutions, and the Splunk was ended up being the cheapest and the most robust.
And that difference in timeline then when it's July 1 to May 24th is probably for that reason that it's a subscription that should have started in May if we...
Yes. So for this fiscal year, we've asked to have the billing for starting in June. Subsequent years will go in July.
Actually, I think yesterday we got that changed, so that should run through June 30th instead of May 24th. So if I could ask for that correction. We were having some of the documents getting changed at the last minute yesterday.
Any questions? Any questions for Clint?
No.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Items 8A, other business. Resolution to hold a township town hall meeting to be held on August 26, 2026 at Hawkeye Community College Van G. Miller Center for the purpose of public discussion regarding county services and to direct county staff to assist with coordinating the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Did you want to, yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
speak to it at all, just I thought.
Karen? So the
Oh,
resolution, this is kind of just more background, thanks to AI here.
well, this is kind of like a proclamation, if this is what you
Yeah, that's
sent
what it
earlier.
came out as, but it kind of gets to the point of what this is all about.
So you just want, you're reading that as
Yeah,
additional
I'd like to
information, but
read
the
it on the,
resolution's
so that people
fine?
understand.
Okay.
Where the County Board of Supervisors recognizes the importance of maintaining open communication, cooperation between county government, township trustees, residents residing in unincorporated areas of the county, and residents of rural and unincorporated areas face unique issues and concerns relating to public service, infrastructure, public health, emergency response, land use, veteran services, and other functions. And the county desires to provide township trustees and rural residents with current information regarding county services, responsibilities, regulations, planning initiatives, and public safety matters affecting unincorporated areas. And Township Town Hall meeting will provide an opportunity for county departments to present information, answer questions, receive public input regarding matters impacting rural communities. And by our action today, the County Board of Supervisors approve a Township Town Hall meeting shall be held on August 26, 2026, 6 p.m., Hawkeye College, Van G. Miller Center, and public notice to accordance and applicable laws. The following county departments and offices are hereby authorized and requested to participate in the Township Town Hall meeting, including Public Health, Veterans Affairs, Auditor's Office, Sheriff's Office, Secondary Roads Department, Planning and Zoning Department, and Marketing Department. The purpose of the Township Town Hall shall be to inform township trustees and residents of unincorporated areas regarding county services, responsibilities, concerns, regulations, and issues affecting rural living and governance. Participating departments are encouraged to prepare informational materials, presentations relevant to their respective areas of responsibility, and engage in attendees regarding questions and concerns. County staff are hereby authorized and coordinate logistics, public notice, outreach necessary to conduct the Township Town Hall meeting. I know there's been a lot of questions about what was being asked for, and I asked the different departments who have had questions from attending the township meetings. Several of the departments, I asked for a little paragraph for as far as marketing, what would go out there, but majority of this was all questions that came up from township town hall meetings. The concern with well water and septic tanks has been brought up several times. Karen with the auditor's office, again, we're not going to replace their meeting. It's not meant for that. It's simply to give them some input in what's going on here before the November election, and then also get in their heads that they will be needing to, again, have another meeting in the spring for their town clerk's training. Veterans Affairs, you're aware, we've had issues with some of our rural cemeteries. Yolando has some specific information to pass along as to the veterans' graves in our rural areas and cemeteries. Kathy's always had issues or concerns, questions that came up with the roads, whether it's dealing with snow removal, dust control, and then the weeds has been another one of the items that was brought up. And then planning and zoning, there's been numerous questions, and I asked Joseph about planning and zoning and doing a short presentation as to where they go for their questions, whether it's permits, planning and zoning requests. In that process, I know there's also been several questions on variances and then vacating right-of-ways, so in that process. And then lastly, asked Gabby as far as doing a presentation, just where people find stuff. Attending the township town meetings, I've been taking the 5-year road project that the roads department has with me, the printout. it's on the website, but again, it's having to show them or give them time to understand where you find this information. So the idea of the township is, it's not greatly in depth, it's giving them a lot of information and questions that they ask, but give them the opportunity to ask the questions and have the different departments answer those questions for the folks. That's the purpose.
How long do you think? 2-hour block?
I'm hoping 90 minutes. Several of these presentations might be 10 minutes. One might be 30 minutes, but the rest of them are going to be fairly short.
I know that was my concern. Like I mentioned last week, it was a lot of information and a lot of to cover, but especially when you talk about discussion or Q&A,
Yeah.
if there's some of that, but won't know till you try.
Well, that was just it, Linda.
I just thought 2 hours.
These are questions that are being asked, and we felt this would be a good way of getting the townships together and getting them all the information at one time, one shot. And it will be an open door meeting. It has to be because you're bringing all the townships in. I don't know as far as we do a board meeting as well, if there's going to be more than 3 of us there, if we need to do something like that. But I think the gist is for the township trustees and getting their information to them.
But this is open for rural residents or this?
Yes,
not
it's
just
an
the
open
trustees?
meeting.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to extend the invitation to residents.
Yes.
As well, not just trustees.
Yep.
Because I thought they're good spokesmen and communicate with their communities a lot, but I just thought the fact that several might have questions in addition, they're
Yeah.
just rural as residents, would be good.
And what would we be looking at for estimated cost?
Well, right now, I don't know of any costs. Hawkeye is allowing us to have the building because it's a government design meeting. There's no cost with that. The departments here, other than public health, I think Caitlin can ask as far as Jared, I think he's the only hourly employee. The rest of them, Joseph, I don't know if there's any extra costs as far as you having presentation on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Then
fun.
we're already canceling planning and zoning meetings already, so it ain't like we're gonna go over budget with this hours on that. And then I don't know if Kathy, if you're gonna have Griffin do something with it, if he wanted to be there.
I can talk to him, but he doesn't necessarily need to be.
Yeah. So other than that, not much cost at all.
You mentioned on this, the 26th or the September 1st, is that changed or?
No, the 26 is the one I've asked different department heads as far as presentations. Nobody had the problem with that. And then there might be one slight problem with the first, September 1st. So that's why we went with the August 26th.
And Hawkeye is available.
Yes, both of those dates are reserved for us.
We wouldn't need to do an actual meeting, formal meeting, would we, if there's no deliberation? It's just if 3 of us show up and answering questions or just sitting in.
Yeah,
I think that's right.
as those that attend wouldn't have to either. They're just there to learn and hear about county services. So.
I believe, and Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we do have to post for the townships holding meetings on that.
For them to
It's the
do
part of the
business.
new law, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, because they'll be doing business?
this is their questions. It was actually, yeah, there was stuff that came up at their meetings.
So there might be more questions to
Yeah.
the meeting then.
Yeah. I think it'd be safe if we posted it
We can
as,
cover it for ourselves as
Yeah.
well.
Fair enough. All right. We just,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like we need to do a good job, or a better job maybe than we've been doing, of making those people aware, though, that they can contact and maybe provide that information for those departments that could come out and visit with them or speak to them at their own, like Kathy could do certainly something. I know as her group about roads and, not always have to be a town hall type of thing.
no.
But an educational forum for people to just get more information about the county services. So, something like that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think it definitely presents an opportunity to work closely with Gabby, not just on a town hall, but on sort of the underlying reason for a town hall being that people maybe aren't fully understanding what county services are available and how can we work that into a marketing plan, a very strategic marketing plan that talks about the quick fire stuff that's time pertinent, but then also the more evergreen content that, we should always be talking about how folks can access local and county government, so.
Or that comfort level too, to call or reach out
Right.
anytime, not just
Yeah.
always to think you have to wait for a meeting too, so that'd be helpful. Yeah.
I like it.
So any more questions or any discussion on it?
Are we missing anything? Does anything else need to be added as far as process or information?
I think it's simple enough.
When you've had the conversations with all of the staff,
Yes.
so, yeah. I think the concern is, last time when we did this, Rich, was really just having the board more involved in it, the planning of it early on. Not that it was anything wrong about doing it, but kind of the communication plan we talked about, making sure what we want that to be. So I guess this is a place to start, and nothing else, and see how this works and, or doesn't work, and we need more time, or shorter meetings, or something more, providing more in-depth information regarding the departments. Who knows? Could go all kinds of directions, but helpful.
Will these be recorded at all?
To be
I don't
determined.
know.
Oh.
That's a good question. I don't know if we should, need to, could, like to.
Clint, can we go YouTube Live? Is that up and running yet?
Did he get up or ignore you?
Craig couldn't hear me, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm not sure with
Okay.
where the location is, what kind of device we're using
Okay.
to do that. Otherwise, we do have other recording capabilities. Could just be a phone and or a actual audio recording.
All right.
It would depend on what the board wanted to do with that.
All right. We got time to figure it out.
Yeah. Plus, that could be an advantage too of having it just recorded and be able to
Correct.
share with other
For the
people.
folks that
that's
can't
for
make
sure.
it to the meeting, but
Yeah.
still share some of the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
questions.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, this is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Hall.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Kurttenbach.
Yes.
Brant.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item B, resolution that the revised autopsy transportation fees policy be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Committee.
So
think-
moved.
This is the beginning of 9 policy changes that we're going to catch up on.
Hello,
Morning.
Board. Amanda Bessemer, Human Resources Director. So yes, for the next several items, these all come from recommendations from the Policy Review Committee. Just want to thank the group that has worked on this for the past year. This is a kind of visited this policy process, I would say, and really did a great job meeting every month to review things that haven't been looked at since early 2000s. And so we started with the board policies. Primarily, you're going to see updates in here from different committee members as to what changes or revisions, if there were any, or even just if there were no changes, why we just continue to recommend that it stay in place. But the plan is to, come to the board ideally more than once a year, but maybe quarterly or twice a year with things that we've reviewed to recommend just that the board have awareness that it's been reviewed and that we get on this kind of schedule of looking at all our policies. Just as a reminder, the employee handbook will be going over a legal review in fiscal year 27. So we do plan to send that through this same process, but it will be the entire handbook. And then our goal is eventually to have some kind of better way to have employees and those that are impacted by these policies sign off and make sure that we're communicating these changes as they occur or any revisions that have been approved. But with that, so yes, this is the first one. I'm going to let Mike Trinan speak to the autopsy transportation fees, but you'll see a few of us coming up with each of these policies. So,
good morning, Board. So, in the past, or as it currently reads, our autopsy transportation fee is capped at $200. As I think the Board is aware, the code changed a few years ago to remove our ability to cap those fees. So we could take this one of two directions, but I'll tell you the direction we kind of chose. You could just not have a policy, but what we've done is we've revised the policy to say that fees for transport of a body sent to the Iowa Medical Examiner will be paid or reimbursed by Blackhawk County only as required by Section 331.802 Code of Iowa. And so, and then in the procedures and requirements section, which are fairly brief, we indicate that county of residence will be billed for reimbursement pursuant to 331.802, and we indicate that we shall not be required to pay or reimburse fees beyond those required by 331.802. The idea here is simply to bring it in line with the statute, since the current policy is unenforceable after the statutory change. Any questions?
Nice job.
Thank you.
No.
It'd be interesting to see if our fees change much.
I don't know. Michelle, do you know of any recently where we've seen much of a change?
I don't believe we have seen, they, you know, the state passed a law that said they could charge more. They've been very good to us and they have not changed, so hopefully that remains.
Yeah, we weren't trying to go too cheap on them to begin with, so, yeah. All right.
This resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Hall,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item C, resolution that the revised change order policy be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Good morning, Board. Sheree Northrup, Planning Administrator, Conservation. With this policy, really, the big changes are we've addressed the autonomous boards, as the policy just referred to Board of Supervisors. We addressed funding source requirements with regards to federal highway Iowa DOT projects and the fact that change order process is different for those. And we addressed changing the trigger amount for a change order requiring board approval from $100 to $25,000. And that $25,000 aligns with the bidding policy that requires only quotes up to $25,000. And after that, then it requires a formal bidding.
Any questions for Sheree?
No. Thank you.
This is a resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item D, resolution that the revised tax sale acquired properties policies and procedures be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All right, and I think this one's mine again. This we had a real complex change to. We changed the building superintendent to facilities director, and otherwise we left the policy alone. I don't think the county is actually obtaining any properties via tax sale, but we thought that in case there's a future change where the county may resume doing that at some point, it'd be good to leave the policy in force. So the policy remains, we've just updated the title of our facilities director.
I don't know if I can get behind that.
This is a resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Brant,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item E, resolution that the revised roadside ditch policy concerning the removal and disposal of soil be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Good morning again, Kathy Nicholas, engineer. This policy supports our ditch cleanout process, which is necessary due to siltation over time in all of the county ditches. We approximately have 1,500 miles of ditches out in the county, and the policy explains the process. The one change that we made was we took out a shall and we made it a may. In the event neither the county nor the adjoining property owner or tenant have use for the said soil, the county may dispose of it. We changed that to a may from a shall. Can I answer any questions?
None.
Thank you.
Scotty.
Thank you.
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Shorts.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Kurttenbach.
Yes.
Brant.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item F, resolution that the revised vacating, selling, and conveying right-of-way policy be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Good morning, Board. Ryan Brennan, Assistant County Engineer. Just a minor change. We added a little definition to the scope of this policy. The main process in the policy is the process followed by planning and zoning for vacating right-of-way within platted areas. We did coordinate with planning and zoning and confirm that that process and what is in there is current and correct. The scope just does further define that if anyone is looking to vacate right-of-way outside of a platted area, that they would coordinate with the road department on that. And that's been the process that we've kind of agreed to with planning and zoning in the past, so just updating for current practices.
Perfect.
This resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Hall.
Yes.
Kurttenbach.
Yes.
Brant.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item G, resolution that the revised security, information policy be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Company.
So moved.
Second.
This policy is to keep confidential certain information in order to protect the county employees, visitors, and county facilities. Really, in this policy, the only change was the code section that was referenced. We did update that code section, and we cleaned up the body of this policy just a bit. But for the most part, the real significant change was just getting the correct code section that references this. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Brant.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item H, resolution that the revised dishonored check policy be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Committee.
So moved.
Second.
This one really did not have any changes. It allows us to charge a fee if you get, use a bad check that we have to spend effort collecting. And so we just are stating that it's been reviewed and in compliance now.
So it really should state it was reviewed, but we're not revising it.
I think that's true. I don't believe there were any changes, so that,
didn't see
yes,
any
we can do
changes.
that.
Okay. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Hall.
Yes.
Brant.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Kurttenbach.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item number I, resolution that the revised solid waste funds allocation board policy is rescinded and be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Committee.
So moved.
Second.
And again, this is kind of a cleanup. We have not received any allocations from Blackhawk County Solid Waste Commission for probably almost 15 years, so it just seems unnecessary. And if we also felt that in the event we started up again, we would probably want to figure out how we wanted it to work at that time. So we're just asking that that be rescinded.
Thank you. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach.
Yes.
Brant.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item J, resolution that the revised management staff benefits policy Sheriff and Consolidated Communications be approved effective July 1, 2026, as recommended by the Policy Review Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so this is actually a recent policy, and this gets updated from time to time depending on some of the benefit structures under the unions. But one of the areas that did not align, so just this management staff benefits policy is under non-bargaining. So it does apply to those individuals that are not covered by a union within sheriff and consolidated, but are in supervisory roles. And it was just a compensatory time. So a couple of our first line supervisors are eligible for overtime. And we had a slightly different, how much comp time you could actually bank up is different under the non-bargaining policy versus what the Unit 9 sworn sergeants receive. It's a difference of 80 hours versus 96 hours. So that's really the only change. It's just to make it cleaner for processing, for administering, and for explaining to those that fall under this kind of unique group. But we do try to keep these in line with what our union does. Before we had the sworn sergeant union, they followed Unit 5, which was deputy and detention officer, booking clerk, dispatcher, and master control. So, and that would be effective 7/1.
Just to clarify, comp time is going, for those that this would apply to, from 80 to 96?
Yeah, they can carry up to 96, and they're also eligible, under that contract, you can, actually, the December 1st payroll, or whenever that occurs, you can request to have your comp time paid out down to 40 hours. So that also allows them to do that with this, similar to all those, majority of the staff covered under either Unit 9 or Unit 5. So, because they have the same language, but right now, as it stands, since it's not included in this policy, comp time, or not referenced in this policy, they follow non-bargaining, which allows you to carry up to 80 hours, but we don't do any kind of pay down process. So very niche area for that update. But any other questions on this?
So how'd the number 96 get picked?
Whenever that contract was, well, 96 depends on what question you're asking, but for the maximum that you could accrue, that's always been in there. For the usage, which was a different change, which we've had some feedback on, but at one time there was unlimited usage that you could use your comp time, unlimited, so you could bank it up, use it all, bank it up, use it up. So 96 got chosen for the usage, just looking at average of what people used. We had some that used 300 hours in a year, which was pretty extreme and very hard to operationally cover. But because you have to, under comp time, you have to allow that usage because it is overtime that was worked. Because if you don't take comp time, then you get paid time and a half. So yeah, that was a few years ago that during negotiations that we discussed limiting the usage of comp time because it was really, we had instances where people were, it was good because they were working that much, but then they were using 300, 200 hours in a year, which was causing that challenges with scheduling and operational coverage. So, but the original 96, how that got selected, why we selected 96, I don't really know what I believe that's fair, like our non-bargaining policy is 80 hours. So basically if you hit that, I think it's fairly consistent with other contracts. I believe roads, do you guys know, do you have about 80 hours? Yeah, 80, roads gets 80 hours. And then if you have that max of 80 hours of comp time, then you just start getting paid time and a half over that. So, but it is a way to kind of, I think, financially and operationally.
Do we have a
balance
projection
things.
on what that payout is gonna look like towards the end of it? Am I understanding that right, that with this, they'll also get paid out if they, let's say they pay out half of their time, so they get down to
Requested,
40?
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know that too many people participate in that. Some do. It was kind of we used to require the payout. One contract, we required that it get paid out, and then the last negotiation, we said, okay, voluntary. So I wouldn't say it's a huge, and within their salary line, I believe it's fairly coverable. But yeah, the bigger, where comp time tends to get more tricky is when you allow large, like up to 300-400 hours that can be banked up, and then that becomes like a payout sometime, and,
Yeah.
that ours has always been 96, so, to my knowledge.
I had one unit where they'd bank up over 96 hours, and then during the summer, they'd want every Friday off. And they had to put limits on it, so
And you have to
gotta
kind
be-
of give it, I mean, you can't really
Yeah.
like deny, you have to be careful on how you deny that comp time, because it is truly overtime that they've worked. So, yeah, it's, I'm assuming that's where 96 probably came in as to what realistically they could give, because knowing that they do have to award that time off. And, you know, we don't have to do comp time, right? I mean, we could just say no comp time, we could just say you just get paid time and a half. But FELSA allows us to do this. But yeah, it's kind of up to the employer how you want to manage that, and up to those operations as well. Especially the 24/7 and roads, you know, where we see a lot of overtime that can happen from time to time, so. But this, again, would just bring it in line so that it's, they're not looking at two different policies for two different groups. It's really just to bring it under the Unit 9 sworn sergeants, or at least mirror those policy guidelines. And I ran it by Judy, Nate, Lieutenant Stocks was one that's been helpful with this as well. And they all agreed with, or said that that would work well.
Good deal. All right.
More questions? It's a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Brant,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item K, resolution that the lowest responsible bid received from Communications Engineering Company in the amount of $12,088.08 for professional services and parts to upgrade the basement conference room audio-visual system be awarded, and direct the chair to sign for same as recommended by Al Yu, IT Director.
So moved.
Second.
Good morning. In Al's absence, I can speak to this. I was part of the scoring team, so I believe you have received the outcome of that, along with the original RFP and the bids. So just to kind of give you, I guess, an overview of what the changes are going to be with this modification. There will be an additional monitor on the, if you're looking at the conference room, it'd be on the north side of the conference room. And the goal for that is to hold a large meeting and be able to face the monitor. And it will also have a camera that will look at the audience. Whereas now, you could be looking the other way and the camera might be facing a different way. So we're trying to kind of clean that view up for both the for the audience and the folks that are teaming in on a meeting. There's also some integration of hardware, software that is supposed to be able to simplify the process of just getting the system operating. There has been several issues with it, and I'm sure IT can speak to that a little better than I can, but I think the goal here is to clean that system up, make it more operator friendly, and just a better experience for holding larger groups. So in the scoring process, CEC, who happens to be the original company that installed this system, they did end up scoring the highest. And they also were the lowest bid received at $12,088.08. In total, we received 4 bids. In that scoring, there were, I believe, 5 or 6 different categories. We went through each bid and feel like we scored those very appropriately. So it's our recommendation that we go with CEC for this. If you did look at the proposal, it does note a completion date. It has a little bit of a in the bid form, it said 6 weeks. In the clarifications section of it, it says 4 to 6 weeks. So we're going to go with 6 weeks on that after award. Any questions on that?
None.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item L, resolution that the Specialty Variable Copay Design Program addendum between Blackhawk County and Navitas, the county's pharmacy benefit manager, be approved effective July 1, 2026, and direct the chair to sign for same as recommended by Amanda Fesenmeyer, Human Resources Director.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all right, so from time to time, our pharmacy benefit manager will present things to us through our consultants with Cottingham and Butler, and when I say us, it includes our finance director, real estate tax systems manager, and then the HR team. And so this is, again, trying to explain how this works, but essentially it is specific to specialty medication that members receive. Just to give you an example, specialty medications are covered as like a tier 2 or a tier 3 prescription under our plan, where a tier 2 is preferred brand drug names, where you pay a maximum of $40 for a 30-day supply. And then tier 3 is specialty medications, drugs that are covered that are non-preferred brand name. And those are covered at $80 for a maximum per 30-day supply. What this program does is it helps our plan, our self-insurance plan, realize cost savings that are actually kind of being more realized by the manufacturers through their coupon programs. And so the example that was given to us and how it works is that there's really no difference to what the member actually pays. So if a member has a copay of $5 or if it's the max of $40 or $80, that doesn't change with this plan. What changes is the out-of-pocket, really the cost savings to our fund. And so, for example, without having this program, a member could get a manufacturer coupon for a specialty drug, and the savings will go to the manufacturer of the pharmaceutical medication. But with this plan, they'll help to assist where that savings actually comes back to the plan. And that's, about the best that I can explain how that works without actually seeing it, on our end. But there is no cost for this plan. It's just recognizing that, there are manufacturer coupons out there, discount programs that pharmaceutical, companies are seeking members to utilize, which is fine, except for that, we'd like that savings to come back to our plan, since we're the ones covering those specialty medications. But yeah, so that's, I don't have a vast knowledge of specialty medications or manufacturer type things, but we thought that this was a good program and one that, with no cost to us, that we can realize more savings and also no drawbacks to the member as well. So any questions on this?
Who all looked over and worked on this with you?
So Navitas representative, Bonnie Sermon, and then we have Stacy Wandershed and Renee, I can't think of her last name right now, but that's the Cottingham and Butler team.
Okay.
And so those two are the ones that bring these things before our group and to, suggest or recommend. We don't have to do this, certainly, but it's just, looking at drug trends and spend and things like that, and kind of that, it's an interesting landscape with the manufacturer coupons and how those kind of operate within a plan or outside of a plan, because oftentimes it's, really outside of the plan. So we're just trying to bring those savings in to be realized by us. But that's who originally, they actually presented it to us, I'm going to say a year ago maybe.
So.
Initially, and yeah, the more that we discussed it over the past year, felt like, well, it's worth trying since there's no cost to us, and certainly isn't going to hurt if we can recoup more of those pharmaceutical drug spend savings.
So you'll evaluate it, or you'll be able at least to see a year from now what those savings may be result in?
That's a good question. We'll at least have I don't know what maybe the manufacturers will learn another way to find a loophole. I don't know. It's possible, but yeah, this should result in additional savings. I don't think it's going to be as large as like, what is the the rebate one that we have? I don't know, Tim, that one's been pretty sizable savings, right? When it comes to, again, this is very specific to specialty medications, so they're not, I can't even tell you how many people are actually on, how many members are on a specialty medication, but it's really just kind of recognizing that there are these manufacturer promoted programs to kind of drive people to, I mean, it still uses our plan, but they benefit more from the plan than we do, the manufacturer does. And so, yeah, it's really more about how we, or go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the examples is some of those specialty medications are very expensive. I mean, thousands of dollars. Some of these discount programs are 50%. So, if you have someone that has to spend $5,000 for a month, instead of the plan paying that $4,960, maybe we're only going to pay $2,460. So, and we
That
don't.
was the table that we provided. So they said an example is it's $4,500, like what Michelle just said. The member never sees that amount because we have it capped at either $80 or $40 per specialty medication per 30-day supply. But then that $45 turns into us paying $4,400 of it, and the manufacturer only paying $95 of it. By having this other design plan, we're now potentially going to pay, instead of $4,400, $3,300 of it, and the manufacturer has to pay $1,195. But without the plan, we take the brunt of that specialty on our medical self-insured pharmacy dental plan, which is that self-insurance fund that we talk about every year. And so we want to continue to keep that healthy and do these tweaks in order to realize those cost savings. But yeah, that's a perfect example when, it's not so much the members seeing that, it's us seeing. And so, a difference of $4,400 to $3,300, so $1,000 over every month, even, that's $12,000 potentially that we could, and for one member, when we have about 900 some members on our plan. So not all 900 on specialty meds, so I'd have to find out. But I could follow up and see how many we even have that would.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't given us anything for projected savings going to this.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where, I mean, it doesn't cost us anything to do it, so there's not like it's really, I think they recognize that, but sure, we could certainly follow up and say, okay, if there's 25% of our members on specialty meds, but those medications they range so much as to.
We'd probably have to pay for that, for them to do an analysis, and it didn't feel necessary at this point, I guess. Just try it and see how it works.
It'll be interesting to see what in a year.
Yes. Hopefully they can provide reporting. I'm not sure how that mechanism works yet.
Yeah, but I think they should be able to, since they're pursuing this and being able to have some way to track, just like now we see the GEO rebate, we actually see those cost savings come through because the board approved that program. And so they give us updates on that as to how that's moving forward, so.
The one thing I didn't see is there a renewal date on this? Is it just for a time period, or is it just we opt in and we're in for?
That's my understanding, is that we opt in. It's not really like something we have to renew every year, of course, unless they come back and there's changes, then, or if there's and we could certainly ask about if there's a way to opt out of it, if after a year or two that we're not satisfied with it. But those ones are, I mean, with it really not costing any admin fee for us to do that, I don't anticipate that there'll be like an end date for that, because I think it's going to be ongoing as specialty medications and pharmaceutical manufacturers continue to compete for those members and that spend. But they did, and just if you have any questions about, but again, just that we have generic drugs, that doesn't cover, that's tier 1, so this does not apply to that, which is the bulk of our pharmacy plan. And then there's the preferred brand drugs, tier 2, non-preferred brand drugs, tier 3, that these would apply to. And then there's, or any other specialty drugs covered by what the plan lists, so.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's, and not often that we see, sometimes they come up around renewal or just periodically throughout the year. I think the GO one was October at one point, a couple of years ago, the rebate program. So you may see from time to time, Navitus just recommend something and we evaluate it and bring it to you all for consideration, so. But, all right, any other questions?
No, all good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Thank you. Item M, discussion and possible board action on our great community of Washburn today. I was going to say, we're going to begin, I guess, Mike, you probably have several things to report on this, but update on nuisance properties?
I'll actually, first of all, I'll go ahead and just mention, we heard about the Sunnyside property earlier, that's kind of in the Washburn area. There is a draft of a letter that has been provided to Rory as well as to Lance Tysinger, who has been assisting with this process for their review, so that should go out this week. With regard to the 3rd Street property, what I had reported the last time we discussed this was that there had been a contact by a contractor. That contractor, I believe its name is Mills Construction. I know that since that meeting, there's been an effort to get a hold of them. Rory can report more on that in a little bit here, but I don't believe that we've yet heard back, and I think you probably tried to call him again yesterday. And this was a contact that had been made sometime back. So what we're looking at doing, and we discussed this yesterday, is once the 60 days passes, we're going to do, this is also a last chance move. There's going to be both to the contact that we've had, who is it Richard? Is that his name? Kniebel. Edward, I'm sorry. Edward Kniebel. He is, we're going to include him on it, but we're also going to add his sister and anybody else we can find. We're going to specify the LLC, and we're going to probably look at a personal service of these items upon them, as well as sending them by ordinary mail to give them one last, it'll be a 30-day go, and we will start the 657A action. And then if they want to start trying to do something to prove it's not abandoned after that, at that point the action will be operating, and they'll understand that they're going to have to prove to the court then that they're serious about not abandoning it. And our position will be that if they aren't making any headway on it, then they are abandoned. It is abandoned effectively. So Rory, I think I've got that mostly right. Does that sound about right?
Yeah,
there?
no, that sounds right. The property owner has expressed an interest in rehabilitating this home. Reached out to the Mills Construction. They reached out to me. My response was to provide us a contract with the scope of the work that this rehabilitation would consist of, along with the timeline. And so that's what I'm hoping to be able to provide to the board of supervisors to see if this is an acceptable agreement, I guess, for this particular property, because it's my understanding if you're making an attempt on an abandoned property, it does complicate things once you get into the realm of a 657A. So I think this last effort hopefully will be the shot that we need in order to get some movement on this property.
So you think this construction company or the mills contractors, I was gonna say, is very serious about.
They sounded very serious. They were very busy, obviously with the hailstorms that came. He did indicate that his schedule was very full and that it's likely if they were to get started on this, it would be later in the year. I said, fine, just give me the scope, and give me a signed contract that shows that this is going to be addressed.
Yeah,
So,
we're just not hearing back right now, and so it's hard to take this seriously at the moment.
You said, when was the last time you did hear back from them?
oh gosh, it's,
The first time they reached out.
yeah, it's probably been 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was
Well,
right about
it might
first of
even be a
month.
little more than that, but thereabouts, yeah. I could get you the exact date.
It was right after our June 2nd meeting.
Yeah. And then we do have some other properties in Washburn that we're working with our Waterloo code enforcement officer on. We've got a couple of residents that keep in contact with our office and keep us abreast of what's going on. And each time we do have a form that we fill out, we send it over to the code enforcement. We are expecting a report back soon on what the findings are. But one of the bigger issues that we're seeing is accumulation of vehicles, particularly unlicensed vehicles, which we do define in our ordinance. It's very clear that your vehicle must be licensed, or else it's considered junk. So our ordinance does a very good job in some aspects as far as clarification or being clear. What's challenging for us when it comes to nuisance is tall grass, for an example. That's something that's not in our ordinance. We can't go out and say you must mow your lawn. What we do is we've contacted the I think it's like the township, it's called, folks over in Washburn, and they have been successful in the past as far as rounding people up to help mow certain properties. I know we've gone that route before, but it doesn't work every time. So that is one of the challenges that we are faced against when we're talking a ordinance that's in reference to rural areas. It's going to be pretty difficult to have something that we can fall back on with regards to yards, especially when you're comparing property in Washburn, for an example, to a farmer that has 30-plus acres. They're under the same ordinance. So we have made some.
Sorry, on that point, Mike, are we allowed to write an ordinance that hits basically a property that's within so many other residents, within so many feet? I mean, the idea, I understand that residents of Washburn and a 30-acre farm are very different, but it would strike me as odd that we don't have any mechanism to craft our own ordinance that addresses these sort of unique circumstances. Because Washburn is relatively unique, but there are other areas within the county that there are 5-10 homes within a reasonable distance to each other, that it's not, we're not talking about just Washburn or 30-acre farms. There's some gray area there.
I think we can draft an ordinance that, similar to what cities do, for areas where you have several homes together, a subdivision, in other words. But I don't know that we can go do that and then just use it to apply an existing violation. We could do this for future resolution of future issues.
And it's
my issue is it's going to be an issue until we create a policy.
Exactly.
Right. So, and we're always going to be able to point back to, well, if we had a policy, well, we will always had a policy if we do not create said policy.
This situation, and Rory, correct me if I'm wrong, but this situation's unique. We just haven't addressed a nuisance property or haven't had a nuisance property situation like this brought to our attention. I don't think, it's certainly not in my time here. I don't think in your time here outside.
Well,
of this.
Typically, the property owner will adhere to what our code enforcement officer puts on the notice. So it doesn't make it to a point where you're going to hear about it. But we have had issues in Dewar, Raymar. Those are also areas where you have homes within a certain distance. I think what you mentioned, Tavis, is I think that would give us the ability to really go out and utilize that section of an ordinance and enforce those and make it useful for those areas that it's hard for us to combat. So.
Compliance, sometimes, like I say, with a dollar amount or something for first,
Yep.
second, and third offenses and escalating or something that we need to do.
We've spoke about this in the past briefly, but one other thing that could potentially help us is habitual violators. So there's an administrative fee that the city uses. So for an example, if you go out to a certain property more than once, they get charged an administrative fee, and that could be anywhere from $75 to $100, and that could be a deterrent, for the folks that we're constantly going out to. Just an adder to what you had mentioned, Mr. Halls. So
Would that be something we'd align with code enforcement on, or would that be something we'd need to do?
I think that would go right into what code enforcement does for us, into that agreement. Absolutely.
Something for your to-do list, Mike. Lori.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. And you mentioned the Sunnyside property. Does that then kind of take care of our nuisance properties?
Well, those are the two I'm aware of in the Washburn area. Sunnyside isn't exactly in Washburn,
No,
but
but
it's
it
kind of
comes up
near
about
there,
the
so we
same.
group it in. But yeah. And then I assume you want to talk about the drainage district as well,
Yeah.
right? So I'm gonna, just a second here. I'm going off of the email that I sent the board last week on this. But bottom line is that, and I'm going to try to, very specific questions I would have to spend some time looking up. This is a lengthy chapter, this chapter 468. If you print it out, it's 134 pages. But there are some kind of high points that the board needs to be aware of as we go forward on this. First of all, my understanding is that the engineer's estimate is that the levee repair would be, Kathy, it was under 50,000. I think, I want to say it was 30 or 35 in my memory, but I might be wrong.
Well, that was to do the vegetative maintenance. It wasn't any type of levee work. It was just to take care of the trees and the vegetation along.
Okay,
The
so we
perimeter
don't,
ditch.
we don't have an engineer's estimate or evaluation right now as to the overall repairs of the drainage district. Is that correct?
Well, several years ago, we put together a replacement cost, but right now, we're not saying we need to do any type of repairs other than there are some things that are unknown to us
Yep.
that may require a repair, but we just don't know.
Yeah, once you dig in, you'll find out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, but to clean out the trees and the vegetation, in my mind, is maintenance. It's not a repair.
And I would agree. It makes sense to me anyway. So here, the short answer as to whether you need a hearing and notice is, if we're talking about a repair cost or a repair fund of more than 50,000, the code requires notice of a hearing. If it's below, notice and a hearing. If it's below that, the board can move forward without advertising for a hearing. Not that you shouldn't. There's, giving extra notice to the residents, other than what's required by code, oftentimes is recommended and makes sense. I think it might make sense here since we haven't had a tax levy. I want to make sure that we're clear about what kind of levies we're talking about, because there's also a levy in flood control, different kind of levy. But before a tax levy is done, the board does have the authority to do that. In fact, it has a duty to do that. And it should be done unless something has changed that requires reapportionment among the properties benefiting from the drainage district. It should be done according to the apportionment that had already been prepared when taxes were last levied for that drainage district, which I don't remember when that was. It may have been at the time it was constructed. So if you are exceeding the $50,000 threshold, you send regular mail notice to everyone in the district. You also have to publish at least once, at least 20 days before the hearing, and that's in accordance with Chapter 331. Its publishing provisions, or 331.305 specifically. You can use personal service if you desire, such as sheriff's service or something like that. That's not necessary. If you exceed the DOT competitive bid threshold, which varies from year to year, I don't remember what it's at right now, that can require different, that can trigger different notice procedures, and that's governed by, that threshold's governed by Chapter 314. But yeah, again, any assessment must be spread out according to the drainage district's classification of benefits, or the apportionment of benefits. Now, what should be done, they recommend obtaining an engineer's evaluation. We've had that as for the clearing of vegetation right now. And Kathy, if I understood you correctly, that's going to maintain the existing drainage district, right?
Right. Our initial costs from about 2 years ago were to, just a rough estimate, to clear out the vegetation.
And
And
how
then
much
we figured
was that again?
that was like $30,000 to $40,000.
That's what I thought, yep.
And then we estimated maybe an annual maintenance cost for that vegetation control would be possibly $2,500.
Okay, so because we can create what they refer to as a sinking fund, or a fund to provide for future maintenance of it. And that would also include repairs occasionally, if repairs are necessary, whatever those may be. So right now, the key as to what we must do, we have to maintain the drainage district. So we're gonna have to do something, and it's gotta be paid for by those who benefit from it. That's all provided by code. There's not really any other way around it. And I think if the county were to pay for it out of general funds, that could potentially create exposure to the county, because the code provides that those are supposed to be paid by the people benefiting from it. And so what it really boils down to is whether we are looking at hitting that $50,000 threshold. And then and we can do hearing regardless. I mentioned in my email, I think a hearing could be a good idea even if we're below that. It gives people a chance to have questions answered. If they haven't been paying attention, it gives them more notice, so that they can have any questions they have answered by the board. But that's the bottom line, is that we've got to this is the high level stuff. We've got to get it evaluated specifically, what we need done, how much we want to levy, whether that exceeds the 50,000, what level of notice we're going to give, and whether we're establishing that sinking fund as part of this so that we're paying for future amounts. If we're talking, $2,500, $5,000 a year, it seems like, a fund that's established could create a situation where it's a relatively low burden on a year-to-year basis for those people who benefit from it. Any questions?
Couple. First of all, Mike, any dollars that we would on the drainage, does that show up as a separate line item on their tax bill then?
I believe it does. I am not sure how it has shown up before, but I believe, well, let's.
Sorry,
listen to the,
Tim
expert.
Jamison, Systems Real Estate Tax Manager in the Auditor's Office. It can be on your property tax bill. In my discussions with other counties who have a lot of active drainage districts, they choose not to do that. Drainage assessments are like property taxes in that if you don't pay them, it could be an issue with the tax sale and everything else. The difference is with property taxes spelled out in the code, you bill in July, you collect half in September, you collect half the following March. There's designated interest rates if you're late on your payments. With the drainage assessment, you can issue those at any time. The board can set the interest rate for late payments. So it's a little bit different than that. I think the reason that the counties that I spoke with don't like to do it as part of the property tax bill is because of the different deadlines for payment. I'll speak specifically to Cerro Gordo. They were very helpful. They have over 200 active drainage districts, do regular assessments annually for many of those. They try to keep from doing one really large one for maintenance. They kind of assess annually or every other year because it keeps the payments lower for the residents. In that case, when they do a drainage assessment, they send out the bill. Property owners have 30 days to pay that before the interest kicks in. So recognize that if we're talking about $1,000 and 30 days to pay that, that's pretty oppressive, I think, for a lot of folks. Whereas if you get a bill for $10 and have 30 days to payment, it's a lot easier to stomach. So they try to keep their assessments, maintenance assessments, lower. They have that 30 days. If, and this is by code, if the assessment notice that you get is more than $500, you have the option of spreading that out over 10 years. If it's under $500, you don't have that option. You need to pay it. And I do have a spreadsheet using that original assessment of benefits, and I can plug in numbers and find out how much each property owner would be assessed, and I can share that if you'd like. But I guess I'm rambling now. I don't remember the original question was.
The original question is whether it be a separate line item, but as to your point about the figuring it out for each separate landowner, I think that can be determined once you know the overall amount that needs to be assessed.
I have an Excel sheet on this that I can plug in any number and every property in there. It'll tell you exactly what their assessment would be. At $50,000, I think there were only about 5 parcels or 6 parcels that were over $500. And that's at $50,000. Like I say, in Cerro Gordo, she sent me copies of notices that they send out. I mean, most of them were like $10, $12, and then like a $5 administrative fee that they charged as well each time they did it. So they weren't very large. And regarding the hearing, just wanted to kind of piggyback. It's been 46 years since an assessment was done in Washburn. Most of the property owners there have never seen one. It's probably going to be a shock and surprise to a lot of people. So I would kind of agree with Mike and others that we would, even if we aren't required to do a public hearing, because it's not over $50,000, it might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Just consideration of the residents, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I've been in communication, I'm gonna say, with at least a dozen folks that live in Washburn area, and with that, I would not want to do anything without having some kind of town hall and giving them some information, what we're looking at here before we'd move forward with anything. I don't even care if it's $10 at this point. Them understanding what's going on and what's at risk, I think, is the more important part, and getting their buy-in on this.
I also wanted, because the last time we discussed this, I had made reference to maybe building up a sinking fund so we didn't have to come back regularly with assessments. I will tell you, my personal opinion has changed on that. I think the large chunks, every 5 or 10 years is going to be harder for people to deal with than, $10 or $15 every other year or something like that. I think selfishly, it was like, I thought it was going to be a lot of work to do these assessments annually, for both our office and the treasurer's office. After speaking with, some of my colleagues around the state, initially, it takes a little effort to set this up in our real estate system, but once that's done, it's a pretty easy process to do a bill if it's annually or biannually or, as needed. I think the other part of that would maybe be politically, do you want to tell people you're asking for $500 versus $100 because you don't want to have to come back and do this for another 10 or 15 years. They may not even be the property owner, 10 or 15 years from now. So, again, I've kind of changed my opinion on building up that fund. I think it makes more sense to keep the assessments a little more even, a little lower, and a little more regularly, if that's what we were choosing to do.
I would agree with you on that. That's where I was kind of coming from, with like maybe that 3 to 5 years or something like that, so they weren't having to come back and we have to keep asking or requesting, but put something out there that had a buffer, but at least allowed us some planning time. So, 2 years go by very quickly, but like 3 or whatever, and make it comfortable for the residents too, not to just be like, yeah, you're just building this fund in case, and nobody likes that. I do think it's important that we do it. I mean, I know soon is always a great word, and when that can happen, but as fairly soon as possible. This year, it needs to happen because we have 5 supervisors that are very familiar with the project, know what's going on, know what has to happen, and can plan for that, and then remove that kind of issue from going forward for a new board or new members or whatever that'll have reservations and concerns, the same things we did and have done, but that we've addressed and kind of removed that obstacle for them, to me. So I think if that's something, Mike, you think doable, because it sounds like the timeline is just maybe coming up with what the costs we want and maybe it's looking at different comparisons. There's a plan and a B plan, and what if we do this versus what we do this, and then the residents know they have options, maybe to weigh in when they come to the hearing on their feelings of it as well.
You could certainly do that, where you come up with different possibilities. I think you want to have, Kathy weigh in as to the advantages and disadvantages on each, and make sure that they're formulated before you set up this hearing or whatever you want to call it with the residents. That does not count as your hearing ultimately for a levy. That would just be kind of a town hall of sorts to allow them an opportunity to weigh in, and then the board can consider those opinions and then arrive at one and set up a hearing at which you would, if indeed a hearing was necessary or desired, at which time you would, just propose what you're going with.
Mm-hmm. And that seems doable to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like something we can make some progress on and do. I know we always knew we needed to go out and meet with the residents, or how we would do that, and who would help us do that. And so this maybe sounds like the reason to make it work anyway.
Well,
Why not?
I don't see any reason we couldn't do that.
Could we get like a scope of work, 2 weeks? Kathy, is that doable as far as timeline, getting something moving for this? If we get a scope of work and then start planning what the next steps is after that?
So like I told you previously, this is our busy season, so we would need to send our survey tech out there to get the property line done or established, and then flag the areas that we would like cleared. And then we feel like we could probably just put together a 1 or 2 page plan set, I'll call it, to send to 3 or 4 contractors who would do this type of work. So yes, we can start working on that. It might take us 60 days to go to having some kind of quotes back. Might even be a little bit longer than that. I would also mention we also suggested that we have someone do a condition of the drainage ditch. Mm-hmm. That's the other unknown. I don't feel like we have the expertise to determine the condition of the drainage ditch.
Well, maybe that's one option, does include that.
Exactly,
And
yes.
see, because it is something important to evaluate the system overall, and they will have to pay for it if something goes wrong with it, so it is trying to be helpful, but we could still look at whether or not that's included or not, and what that means to the residents.
I did talk to a few drainage engineers who work in northern Iowa, and they gave me some very rough numbers of what it would cost to do this assessment, and their limited knowledge of what I was able to provide to them.
You've given us those numbers, I know, probably several
Yeah.
times, so it's just digging them out. Yeah, thank
I-
you, Kathy.
It was anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000, for example.
Not ridiculous amounts, though.
What?
That's not a ridiculous
No,
amount.
I mean, no, when it's a shared kind of a thing, that's, yeah. I think that's what we were kind of struggling with early on, is how much this was gonna result in a overall assessment for people, for all the people. Even the 5 owners, you say that ones that are gonna come in, the large property owners still, but consideration of others.
So Mike, if we were to do, let's say this year, the tree removal, getting the drainage ditch open, next year do the survey for condition, is it a cumulative like that 50,000, or is it, do we separate each of these, make sure we're?
I think it's just any time you're gonna levy
Yeah.
on it. Now, if there is something where the code cautions against, trying to split it up into parts so you avoid the hearing requirement altogether.
Yeah, and that's not the
And I don't think
reason.
that's our
I'm wondering-
objective.
No.
But there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, right now, what we need to do is tree removal. Tree removal is gonna cost, $10,000 or whatever it might be. Let's levy for that and let's get this done. And then we'll evaluate next year where we're at, and we'll see if anything else needs to be done, and try to get this gradually on something that is more, kind of a steady or annual maintenance program. I think if we,
Didn't you talk about the amount being relatively low? At $50,000, only 5 properties would be over 500, so I don't think that's something you want to come back to every year.
No, it isn't.
Gonna-
It definitely
Unless it was
isn't.
like this disastrous result,
But-
and it doesn't sound like it's that.
But I don't think
I
that's
think
what,
that you could do, you could plan to assess that tree removal portion,
Yeah.
the annual for the mowing, and go ahead and put that study in there. You're still gonna be under 50,000, and it's not gonna be prohibitive,
No.
I don't think, to people.
but maybe something to do, just a thought here, is go ahead and tee this up as a hearing at which you'll be trying to, pass a relatively small or a smaller assessment, but also at which time you'll discuss what some of those future assessments may be. That way it'll be very clear to anybody, who might try to accuse us of skirting the notice requirements or something like that, that we're trying to put this out before anybody in Washburn so that they can come and talk about this and learn about what our bigger picture idea
Well, I think
is
that's what
here.
we are trying to do, and that's what that
Exactly.
initial meeting will do, is try to tee it up. But it's like
Yeah.
having, like Tim says, he can have those assessment numbers very easily and quickly, thank you for that, and show them the options and what that means to the individual property owners for the most part. So, and he's got all the properties, he said he can even do them individually, not just like by cost or by valuation, but by their properties. So, yeah, I just don't see why we'd be trying to throw something just to say, here, we'll do the tree removal, if we can encompass this and get it going and forward, because they paid this for years.
Well, and that is the
Some
board's
years they paid it for
decision.
many.
That- that-
And, yeah, but you'll do it with the input of the
You
people
bet, you
present
bet.
or that you hear back from.
One thing, and I think Tim is already thinking along this line. One thing to have at the ready is, some numbers. So you could say, okay, if we assess 50,000, here's how much it is for you. We can look down the list and say for each address, this is what you'd be on. If this is $10,000, here's how much it would be, so that we can at least give the residents, if we're having this hearing, we should at least be able to give them a ballpark.
Well, that township meeting is what you're talking
Yep.
about, not to confuse it with the hearing, but I was gonna say that
Yeah,
township meeting
that's
or
true.
whatever. I think that is what Tim can do, like, if you're willing, thank you, but show those assessments, or show what it will result in to people.
But this is, the bottom line is, it sounds like the drainage district is not in bad shape. It needs a little cleanup on it to remain operational. But things like this cost some money.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, it's not to be, like, say, not to overcharge anyone, but just so that they're aware of what we can do with the dollars that are in there, I guess. I mean, that's been what for years we've said. People keep asking, what are we gonna do these ditches? When are we gonna do these ditches? And it's like, well, when we have money in there to do it, and we can't clean ditches without that, and it's $2,000, and it's been for quite some time now. But
Right.
so this is our opportunity, I guess, to kind of still, I think, take advantage of this board being fully aware of where we go, the staff being helpful, and you, Mike, too, as well as this process. What
And
we do.
any specific questions that arise, feel free to send them my way to be researched. It is if you get into the code on it, and feel free to, in chapter 468, it might appear to be a
Put you
cure
to
for
sleep.
insomnia.
Look how
But
many pages there were, yeah.
So I
Thanks.
go back to my question. Kathy, how soon do you think you can get us some information?
So I still think it's going to take us maybe until the end of August.
And everybody's
What I would
busy.
like to know, are
It's not just
definitely
us, but even the
directing?
contractors, they'll bid back. Everybody, this is a busy season for everybody, so that's
yeah.
gonna take some time.
If you're directing me to do this, we will go out there and get it surveyed. We will get together a drawing. We will get that sent out to contractors who do this type of work. Like you said, everybody's busy, so possibly give them, 2 or 3 weeks once we get this drawn up to respond back to us and get us some numbers. So I would think it's going to take us a couple months to get you back some quotes, so to speak.
Yeah,
So,
let's do that.
do we want to take action on that today to direct Kathy to do all of that and get?
Please.
Yeah.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, Kathy.
Well, she needed the direction, that's what.
She needed, yeah.
That
We've been
makes it
kind of
not
waiting to
answer
know.
the
I know,
question.
I know.
Yeah,
Start working
that's
on it.
all right. All in favor, we said aye.
Yes.
Any nays? All right. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Michelle.
bet.
How do you feel about this? Thank you, okay. Got to start somewhere, right? Okay, super. Item 10, reports or information from the board.
We've got a work session, right?
I'm sorry. Oh,
Yes,
we do.
we do.
Michelle, we can't forget.
we take a-
Michelle's like.
Oh, we could.
She maybe like us to. Yes, go right ahead. Thank you. Look at everybody.
Oh, I don't,
You went
they're
already.
serious, they're leaving.
Yeah, hopefully they come back. Yeah. You came back.
I was hoping this was not gonna be that long, but
Wait, I left my
Yeah.
phone and keys in here.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, you'd have to wait a long time.
See, Steve,
See ya.
I meet with Grove Cedar Valley after this. So,
How are you today? Oh, and then they're here
Clint?
next week, to do their recap
Yeah,
of what they've done.
yeah, so I'm gonna go to their office and chat with Katie and whoever comes, and we'll see what I can learn.
just
Oh,
tell
yeah,
Clint that when
see how
we
you
start,
do.
I'm gonna need him to switch it to the puck.
Okay.
Go over things I didn't get to get into.
Yeah.
Was it in September? It wasn't September.
That's
was
okay.
it?
What?
When they came to initially
Okay.
present with their recommendations.
Oh,
Yeah,
Had to
that's,
hold.
we moved that up to February.
yeah, we can. It's, you just want me to sign it, or what do you?
Okay.
And then we all of a sudden had this little, we wouldn't let her go too. Remember, we said, let you wait a couple weeks.
That was okay. Yeah, that was because that was your budget.
And probably want you to sign it too,
And so
since
now
you
we're
know
gonna-
that they actually did the work.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, absolutely.
We gotta get water.
Yeah,
Dehydrated.
I need more than that, but I'll drink water.
I need a second cold.
What?
I know, it's kind of scary, isn't it?
For you, that's it's been a busy meeting.
Yeah, oh, sorry. You should have said.
I was getting real
Excuse
tapped.
me.
Justin had jumped up and
Yeah,
handled
that's what he
it.
said. I said, I'm surprised you came back. He said, I was thinking not, but the keys are in here.
Now we lost it.
I was like, yeah, I've had that feeling. I suppose if you did leave, I just keep doing
That
it.
would be the, yeah.
Well, it's only 10:30. That's only an hour and a half from when we started.
This is the second cup of coffee.
Oh,
I'd go for another hour.
Are you saying you want me to talk longer?
oh, he might have needed the place to have a break.
Maybe we can have Mike explain the policy. That'll take an extra 15 or 20.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I do not know this policy, this proposed policy
It's
yet,
just
so.
new, you know.
It
so you
isn't
gotta
really
sit it
it isn't a policy yet.
It's
It's
just
Say it's
proposed.
just
ideas.
proposed, I'll,
That's why she's here to talk about it, because none of us know anything about it.
We'll see if we can sell it.
I told her I didn't want to put holes through it till she explained it, because I already beat it up.
trying to be out by.
It's pretty much Swiss cheese right now.
I just meant, it was like, I thought, no, let's wait and hear what she says before. Otherwise, no, I don't like it much. The end product, maybe.
To start.
You good?
No fair. Oh, yeah, that's right. You went for water. I was gonna say no fair to go twice.
There's a line at the water cooler.
Oh, really?
No.
No.
All right.
Work session, work session.
Right?
Work session.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it, because that's like, I was ready to adjourn, because I knew everybody was ready. Didn't think about it.
I was debating, did I say something?
After all those policies.
It can be physically draining, reading and everything.
Yeah, it does. You haven't even been to a controversial one. Wait till you get to a challenging, like a town hall where they all should be that. So we thought we could shoulder that and help you guys out. Later, we don't know. So it's like,
It doesn't want to.
next year it'll be like,
It says it's
man,
okay.
you guys done it?
Yeah. No, I agree though. The wheels of government, if they're not moving
they
slow,
need
they're
it.
stuck in the mud. And so,
Well, it's because they, if you're one came here once, so they didn't want the money raised. So then it's like, well, you're kind of dead in the water till you have more people speak up. But I guess we can do it now, so I don't think our attorney told us that before, now it's just like, do it.
Oh, did we lose everybody?
Yeah. Oh.
Kick them off, did we? Oh, are they?
They're on, we just can't find ourselves.
Thank you. You ready, Michelle?
Well, I thought we were, but
Oh, you're trying to get your stuff to come up?
I mean, I think this is how it usually looks. What's going on? Do I have it in the wrong place? I don't think so. I'll take it a minute now.
I had Ted's agreement to get back to all of you, but of course I had questions because he did something strange to me all the time, but we're good with the amount. He wants me to bill two separate, you know, like we talked about. I said, no, we don't always bill one. Just quit making our lives complicated. God, help us. So I was going to forward it, and I was like, no. It's like, here's the invoice for this, and here's the invoice for this, and don't pay them the same day. And I was like, sorry, Charlie.
What's
This
going
isn't
on?
your deal. This is our deal, right? I don't know. He's driving me to drink. Just for this, $80,000. No, not yet. That's all right. Now we'll wait. There you go.
Oh,
I see something. I see
I was just
something.
about to say, let's skip it.
Yeah, we've got your notes. So ready?
I think so.
Okay, take the mic away. You got a loud voice now.
Oh, I'll have to be loud. Okay.
No, you can get the attention. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming.
Okay, so this would be a new policy, so I wasn't exactly sure how the steps to do that, but I decided I needed to put a little bit of thought into it before I ask you to think about something. And the reasons that this is on my mind primarily is the new property tax law. As you know, that our general unassigned fund balance, when we budget, it's going to be limited to 35%. And I believe it's actually like the prior year expenditures. That starts for the fiscal '28 budget. I hope to get some clarification on that tomorrow, actually. We'll see. But at the same time, in that same law, there's future revenue restrictions, a big one due to a change in the homestead credit, because it's going to eliminate the current state reimbursements that we get, which is a pretty large sum for our general fund. And switching to an exemption, which will peel valuation off our taxable value, so that could potentially reduce our value if there isn't other growth. And the third part of that is, at the same time, even if we could raise property taxes, which would be limited anyway, since we're pretty much at the general basic levy limit, but now it'll be capped, that we could only raise it 2%, even if we had growth that would cover that. So there are pretty serious changes in revenue coming with the FY28 budget. So that's, in my own head, it's like, how do we balance, not having a lot of reserves, and yet we need to fund operations too. So there's a lot more work to come on this. I don't have really good information as far as I'm concerned yet about those impacts. And as you all know, some of them we literally won't know till January, because we won't know the property taxes, which is going to be a big part of this, because that will also drive some of that homestead information too. So this is just trying to preliminarily think about ways to cope with all these changes that are coming. And I'm jumping around. I just threw a few slides together this morning, so I'm jumping around a little bit. I thought I would go back to our fiscal '25 year-end results. Our unassigned fund balance for fiscal '25 was $27.4 million. And I believe that's about maybe 56% of expenditures. So that is too high under the new state law. So we knew, as I developed the FY27 budget, it was after we had pretty much gone through our budget, but there was enough talk that I did expect there to be some kind of restriction on our general unassigned balance. So when we certified the FY27 budget, I did bring it down substantially from that. And these are some of the things that will be in there. I had not actually recorded the turnover pool, for example. I didn't take a slice of our unassigned and park it in a place last year. We will do that going forward. Then we have, I don't know where we stand with the evidence facility. You had at one point committed $750,000 to that, so I have that in here. Whoops, I see I lost a tab in there. The next line, the commitment for the vacant position advertising, there may be about $20,000. It's not a lot, but that might be factored in there too. Then I did add quite a bit for capital. I had been setting aside amounts for equipment only for the next fiscal year, only 1 year. I just took, since departments were asked to do a 5-year CIP, that 5 years worth of equipment is about that $5.3 million. So I have just said we're going to attempt to assign for that. Then I added our actual capital improvements projects, which were bond eligible projects. That's the distinction I'm making. That first one is not eligible for bond funding. The next one is just fiscal 27 and 28. That was about $2.9 million. And then I did go ahead and add the rest of the 5-year plan, which is another $3.6 million. So that brought those types of assigned balance to about $13.3 million. And when I take that away from the 27, our unassigned is projected then at about 14. And that's a little lower than what you see on the certified budget forms, but that's because what I didn't add to this slide is that I believe we will likely have revenue exceeding expense this year. I can't tell you today what that amount will be. I just think there will be something. So I didn't quite bring it down this low in the certified budget. So that, if we just run this through the math, then we're probably sitting at about 30.3%. So that's below the 35. But I've got another whole year of, at least 1 year of operating results to factor in there, which is likely going to go the other direction. So those are the things that's going to be just going to take some effort every year to kind of look at that and decide what we want to do. And as the finance director, it's just very hard right now to say, yeah, let's use all that reserves for capital when I know the revenue restrictions that I think are coming. So I think, and I'm still working on that, I think we're going to have to, you might want to figure out a plan to kind of ease that. Maybe we do use some reserves to subsidize the next several years' budgets at least, so that we can try to maintain our core operations with all the restrictions we're going to be under. That is one thought. But we know we've had a couple of things come up where, and a little bit different reasons than what I really am covering in the proposed policy now. But the things that I think need to be considered is our need to maintain our fund balance at no more than the legislated level, right? With the need for future operating funds. That's the balance we're going to have to try to consider all the time now. But as historically, we generally perform better than what we budget to. That's historically been the case. So it seems to me that it makes sense to allow some kind of requests for additional budget authority. And the question is, how do you do that? How much do you do? Lots of questions around that. And I did do some research, didn't necessarily find a lot of things. So some of the guidelines, if I can get this to switch here for me, I just kind of started drafting something. I would anticipate that this section that we're talking about right now would be one-time use that a department comes to you and asks. When they did their original budget, they didn't anticipate a certain type of expense or project, or during the normal budget process, we may have decided that we didn't want to afford to fund it in that budget cycle. But that they could come and make a request to you. But I thought it was important to have it be a policy so that all departments and elected officials would be aware of it and would be able to come and request it. Otherwise, most of our departments have known for years you never go and ask for extra money, right? It's very rare. And I feel like it would be a better policy if everyone at least knew it was out there. I still don't anticipate everyone to come and ask. In fact, I would hope they do not. But I did think some kind of mechanism to allow it might be something you'd want to consider. I was trying to figure out mechanically how to do that. And the board might want to say, okay, well, we're going to set aside however much, 100,000, more or less, whatever your choice is. That would become a pool that departments could apply for funding. I would kind of want to keep doing that based on the last audited results, because those are the only ones we know right now. And just allow departments to make those requests once you have decided you want to offer that option, or if you want to. And you certainly may have years coming that you would not want to do that. But this would just kind of give the staff some guidelines for how to request it and what kind of things you might consider and those kind of things. So that was really all. I did not have luck researching it to see about other places doing something like this. There are policies out there that are more of an encumbrance, so they allow departments to almost automatically, if you didn't spend all your budget this year, they would automatically roll it into the next year. I do not suggest that kind of process. I think we have not operated that way, and I think the board would be frustrated with that policy. So I think a policy where you have much more proactive role in it is probably more along the lines of what you would like. But that's up to you to tell me what you would like to do. So these are just some things I threw out that departments would need to explain why they're asking, why do they, because I originally started this thinking they need to have carryover balance to do it. We would not have to do that, and I have mixed feelings about requiring that, but that's one option you would have. Do you want to require them to have had performance better than budgeted? There's a lot of negative in that for me, but it would allow, we've very recently approved a couple of things where we've said we're going to allow departments to spend money in the next year because they didn't use it this year for various reasons. So that would be one situation. And obviously what are they going to use the money for? What do they expect the outcome to be? Why it couldn't be done in their regular operating budget, and how it aligns with the strategic plan. I was thinking those are things you would find important to know to authorize that. And then I threw out an example, literally just put some numbers on paper with several options. So, and this was countywide, not per department, but just saying that if our total amount revenue better than expenses was 100,000 for the year, how much of that would you like to put in this pool? And 5% is only 5,000. We gave you 5, 10, and 15. It's not. The example is not a significant sum of money, but if it was larger, you just scale that up. I think, and there's going to be probably two main types, either operating requests or capital that would not be bonded for. So I just had another option on the capital, really the same process.
Michelle, could the departments who don't use all their budgeted dollars contribute into that pool?
The way it stands today, yes, anybody does. If you perform better than expected, the money just is there. And if you don't, there isn't necessarily a penalty because it's the net pool that we're talking about. Those would be things you'd have to think through.
Do departments at the end of the year, once the books are closed and all of that, do they have an idea of what that dollar amount is that their department is carrying over? Do we share that with them? Do they know that? Sort of what's that internal process look like so that they know, we rolled over 200,000 last year.
Yeah, I think most of our departments have the ability to generate those reports themselves once everything's posted, which again, that's a process yet, so it's a while yet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, most of them have their own direct access, but we can also provide things to them.
In the written request, I would like to add that so that we have an idea of what that department rolled over the previous year when we're considering the request to use those rollover dollars. Versus, and that's not to say that maybe it will exceed their rollover dollars, but it doesn't necessarily exceed the entire pool. But I think just for context for supervisors, I think it's valuable.
Okay. And there's a difference to me, I guess, on something that was budgeted in a year, and then you're asking, there was a timeline, or there was a problem, or there's a reason the contractor couldn't do it, or whatever. But we still have this money, and we'd like to do it, as soon as possible. than, oh, I've got money in my budget, now I'd like to do something else.
Correct.
Or, and doesn't mean there can't be warranted projects if they were in a 5-year plan, I'm thinking so. Not so much as just like, here's how I could spend these dollars. That's a little bit hard for
Right.
me to take right
Yeah.
now. So, yeah.
There still seems to be some confusion between what the electeds can do with their budgets and just what the department heads can do with theirs.
Yeah.
So that's another thing in this process is a little more clarification that way. And then we talk about conservation, Board of Health, veterans, they control their budgets as well. So are we
But they
talking more?
they only control their annual budgets, all of those groups.
So they would be, this would apply to them as well then?
That'd be up to you, but I would think you would allow everyone to. I mean, with the only difference between elected officials and your non-elected officials that once we allocate the budget to an elected, they keep it and they can change how they use it really without formal authorization from you. That really is
Right.
a separate topic.
Although most
From-
of our elected officials have been just fine with that. I mean,
Yes.
they usually bring those things. There's
They-
only been.
Yes, it's just what's legally what you can require and what you can't. But that's just how their regular budget works. It's really a separate issue because none of them get carryover automatically. We don't have a policy that allows that. That would be the encumbrance thing that I definitely do not recommend you do. So anybody that needs, whatever the right term is, whether they're elected, the autonomous boards, whatever, you have budget authoritarian control for all of them. So you can choose, and they would have to apply.
Yeah, them still haven't come to the board to get that final approval of whatever it is they're planning, but yeah.
Yep.
I like it. I like the policy idea. It puts it out there. I think we've talked about it at different times and different things that have come up. And projects, but
I appreciate that it feels like it creates a framework, but it doesn't create an algorithm that
Right.
it's an automatic thing. You
more
still
money.
have to come and, the final policy, I think, should bold, italic, underscore, or underline that it still has to come back to the board for approval, but
Yeah.
that there is a framework to at least,
Yeah.
so that everybody's playing with the same
Right.
rules.
It seems like it was always so taboo to do anything like this in the past, so it's a big change.
well, it was more or less trying to get the projects completed by year end and then paid for, so they end the year, but yeah.
I do hope this serves a little bit as a relief valve, although if you budgeted to do a project, we maybe all need to think harder about our budgets, and if you ask for the money, you probably need to, don't wait to work on it till June, right? Because that really should have been in the next year's budget then.
Yeah. Don't
But
use
there
the
are
carry.
circumstances that arise, and so we want, I think one of the issues, I don't want people to rush and pay for things in June if the work isn't really done and done correctly the way you want it. Go ahead and hang on to that, and we'll wrap it up in the
We've seen
following
that
year.
happen,
Yeah.
I think with that rush to pay and to actually put the payment in someone's hands because it needs to be cashed and so wrong.
Yeah.
I think any taxpayer would say no.
Right.
You just can't send people money when the work's not been completed.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to achieve that goal too. That take a little bit of that year-end pressure off, I guess. But
But, yeah, and at the same time, like, you need to plan for the work you can get done in the year. And if you can't, then you put it to a next year's plan, because otherwise you'd always end up with carryover
And some, circumstances always arise that we don't anticipate, right? Either with the vendor or some other big project comes in that takes precedence. So there are reasons why things can't get done in the year we thought they would too. And this just allows, I would hope we would allow a little bit more formal way to allow people to do that.
I also, and I hear the idea that for projects that maybe were planned and the timeline is just off, but I also, as an individual supervisor, I recognize that advancements happen sometimes outside of a calendar year and a budget process, and perhaps there are platforms that departments discover after the budget process that might have real benefit to the county. And so I don't want to create the policy to the point where it's just restrictive on capital projects or just sort of rollover in terms of the calendar years didn't quite align with the work that was performed. I would like to maintain the flexibility within the policy. The board still has to deliberate. The board still has to say yes or no. But I think to allow for this policy to have some recognition that the opportunities present themselves, and if they're for the betterment of the county, then department heads should feel emboldened,
they can bring
frankly,
it to
to
the
bring them
board,
to us.
but to bring
It's not a
doesn't
rubber
mean
stamp.
it's
This policy isn't a
stamped,
rubber stamp.
No.
But I think the policy can be a reminder that this can be a collaborative process, not sort of an adversarial process. And I think that has been the feeling in years past. And I do feel like this board and future boards are moving towards that more
Well,
balanced
you don't know
approach.
what you got for a future board yet, so.
True,
I
that's
wouldn't-
true.
I wouldn't speak out about
That's
what
true.
you
Well,
think.
I have my fingers crossed. I have my fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's set up some flexibility. Are you gonna send us that as well?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you. Wrote down a lot, but not all of it.
No, it's, well, you have the proposed policy I did send.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's just those few slides I didn't get sent out.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah, I will
No,
get
it
those to you
wasn't
too. I can get those to you today, obviously.
16th.
What?
She sent that out on the 16th.
As far as adopting this or amending it, adopting it as a policy, what's the time frame? Are we,
That was my question to you. Yes, gonna be.
This is just first draft.
It is. I know. I mean,
Just look
I think
right,
there's
right.
two questions is, do you want to set a date to talk about it again? Because yeah, this is just really rough. I needed to get your feedback and get it incorporated, and so you need time to give me feedback, and then we need to have another work session, and I guess at that point, we need to figure out if you want it to go through policy review after you give me your initial feedback. I don't know how you want to do that with a new policy like this.
Well, this one's more board.
Yes.
Activated, whatever. I think we talked about that in some of our policy review meetings, that there were very different ones that kind of come from staff.
Yeah.
And then we saw sometimes how some of the others that came from supervisors were taking longer time, even for all of us to understand and get the information. Whether it was food and beverage or
Yeah.
local preference or policy, or post bid and things like that, that was a little different. So I'm fine with us working on this. I don't know as far as, I do want information or feedback from department heads and those individuals. So it would be whether or not the policy review it would be having others look at it, add comments, concerns, questions at a work session, so that everybody can kind of bring up thoughts and ideas. So that might be something we could do. Because you do want it to work for everybody, or
Yeah,
have everybody's
that's the
questions,
point.
not just
Yeah.
ours,
No, I agree.
addressed.
could you send it out to the department heads? And so they could take a peek individually in case they, for any number of reasons, they just can't attend the work session for feedback?
So the question is, would you want me to send what I have now, or do you want to provide, I would think you might want to provide some feedback about what structure you would like
Yeah.
before I send it out,
Yeah.
but I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what Tavis added though to that.
I think if we did one more work
Flexibility.
session, if we did one more work session where we just sort of fine tune what we're generally thinking and then send it out for
Yeah.
feedback,
Draft
that
everybody.
feels, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Sounds good. To be determined. You're gone next week, you said?
Yep.
All right, reports or information from the board? Thank you, Michelle.
I attended the LaPorte City Council meeting last night, and they're dealing with some property issues as well. It's kind of interesting to hear. Not the only ones dealing with problems.
Problem children. And next week, June 30, is Gross Cedar Valley presentation or update or whatever, recap for the year. I know you won't be there, but they were gonna talk with you about it beforehand. Okay,
After this, I'm going to meet with Katie and whoever she invited to attend, talk about that, so,
get some questions answered and stuff.
yeah,
Okay,
try to learn a little bit more.
great. So is there a motion for adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody.